Hello and welcome to the tutorial. Here we're going to take a very quick look at how to use the app, although hopefully the interface is actually very self-explanatory. And we're also going to talk about how to make the most of the app and why and how we've designed it the way we have. Just to point out before we begin that there's a mouse icon in the middle of the screen here. You're not going to have that because you're using a touchscreen device, but I want you to see where I'm pointing and clicking just so you can see how I'm navigating my way through the app. First thing I'm going to do then is go into the ABCDE simulation mode. This is really the centerpiece of the software and it's where all the action happens. Every time we open this mode, we'll be presented with the same very boring clinical lead-in. However, the actual scenario itself will vary every time we open it. There's a series of clinical parameters that the app randomly generates each time you open it. So for example, John might be conscious or unconscious. John, by the way, is our long-suffering patient here. John may have an obstructive airway or a clear airway. He might have an unstable tachycardia. He might be bradycardic and so on. He'll be in a slightly different situation every time you open it. But anyway, the lead-in will always be the same, so we'll just click through it. This is your main view within what I'm going to very grandly call the virtual resuscitation suite. This is the end of the bed view. Here we can assess John using these buttons on the right here. And we can do things to him using the action menu on the left here. All of the drawers in the arrest trolley can be opened. So for example, the airway drawer opens here. And we can try and use this equipment by clicking on it. So John doesn't tolerate the bag valve mask when we click on that. But if we go to the breathing drawer, we can stick oxygen on. And that's fine, he will tolerate that. There we go. John is hooked up to oxygen. We can view the cardiac monitor. Obviously we've got no monitoring equipment attached, so that's blank. And we can use a defibrillator which is fully functional. So you can pace, you can deliver synced shocks, unsynced shocks, and all the things you could do in real life, really. So that's it. Explore the scenario for yourself. Your aim here is to get John stabilized. So he needs to have a clear airway, he needs to be breathing adequately, he needs to have reasonable oxygenation, he needs to have a good blood pressure. You'll get all that information in the lead-in. And if you don't achieve these things in a timely fashion, John will arrest. I suspect actually he's going to do so fairly shortly as I keep talking. There's a point I want to make here though, which is that this scenario is designed perhaps to be a little bit overwhelming if you're very new to the world of resuscitation. There's a lot you can do, there's a lot of information you can obtain, there's a fully functional 4-lead cardiac monitor, there are drugs you can use, there's all sorts of monitoring equipment in there. This is supposed to mimic the experience of, there you go, John has arrested because I've been talking too long and we haven't been addressing, presumably, his blood pressure. Anyway, this is designed to mimic what you will experience maybe in your OSCE as part of your medical school finals, maybe on your ALS or your ACLS course, and maybe even in real life if you're already a practicing clinician. It's that feeling of arriving on scene and being slightly overwhelmed because there are so many things you should do and would like to do, but it's trying to work out what to do first. So that's the way we've designed this app, so that you're just presented with a whole load of information and you have to navigate your way through it. So the opportunity here is to practice your ABCDE approach, and do use that. You know, when the scenario first opens, go straight to the airway and assess and address any issues with that. Because if John has an obstructive airway or an obstructed airway, he'll probably arrest within 20 seconds of opening the app. Once you've done that, assess his breathing, see if he's hypoxic, give him oxygen if he is, because if he's hypoxic and you don't give him oxygen, he'll probably arrest within a minute, and so on. You know, if he's hypotensive, he'll arrest within about 2 minutes, as he has this time, if you don't address that. So the app is designed to make you again and again and again do things in that order, right? First of all, airway, then breathing, then circulation, then and so on, so that by the time you're putting this into practice in some sort of real life situation, you've got it really hammered into your head, A, B, C, D, E. So we'll leave this mode now because you've got plenty of time to explore this for yourself. We can go into a CPR simulation here, which is sort of a streamlined version of the scenario we just saw, where John is simply arrested and all you have to do are the basics like attach defib pads, perform a rhythm check, remember when to give adrenaline and amiodarone and things, and just work through a CPR situation. There's a couple of modes here that allow you to practice specific skills. So you've got this rhythm recognition skill, this rhythm recognition mode, where you can practice a whole series of cardiac rhythms. And then there's this mini game Shock or Not, where you simply have to look at a rhythm and very quickly decide whether it's shockable or non-shockable. It's sort of a rapid-fire game. And if you get 10 in a right correct, you'll be given a time, and you can put that on Facebook as your Facebook score. We've got a very small learning zone here, a couple of links to useful websites, and of course a link to this video tutorial. This here is a link to our own website. At the moment, we're still populating it with learning resources, but we hope to build up a fairly substantial collection of video tutorials and links to other external sites that'll be really useful if you're preparing or if you're trying to brush up on your resuscitation skills. So for the time being, that's about it. Fire ahead, explore for yourself, and above all, enjoy. We have put a lot of effort into this app. We've really tried hard to design it for maximum utility for our target audience, which is to say anyone who's fairly new to the world of resuscitation. At the moment, it's completely free. In the future, if we do have to charge for it to cover our costs, we'll do so minimally. So we're really reliant on people here supporting us. And the way you can do that is on the Play Store or the App Store. Give us reviews, give us ratings, and on Facebook, share the link to the app with your friends. The more people we get using it, the easier we're going to find it to get sponsorship and keep this free and develop loads more useful features. From our website, there are a couple of links to YouTube videos showing you what we're planning on doing in the longer term. And there's my email addresses on the website, and I'm always happy to hear any feedback, any thoughts, anything at all relating to the app. And that's about it from me. Enjoy.